You hear about the mental health crisis all the time, right? Depression, anxiety, PTSD. But what if I told you one of the most powerful treatments for it was discovered 70 years ago and then banned on purpose? Yeah, let's get into this. When you hear the word psychedelics, you probably think of dangerous party drugs. That is exactly the story they wanted you to believe, that it would just fry your brain. And look, this wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate campaign, a political decision dressed up as a public safety warning. But what if the real story wasn't about danger at all, but about a massive discovery? The story of a totally promising field of medicine that was right on the verge of revolutionizing psychiatry before it was deliberately and systematically shut down. And I'm not talking about some wild conspiracy theory here. This is a documented part of medical history. So, to really get what's happening today, we have to go back. We need to understand the science that was lost. We're going to do a quick walk through a 70-year timeline, from that initial promise to the political shutdown, and finally to its incredible comeback. And what's just wild is the scale of this original research. I mean, back in the 1950s, this was not some fringe idea. This was seen as a major breakthrough. We're talking over 1,000 scientific papers published. But then, these substances became a symbol of the counterculture, of anti-war protest. And the government, they didn't just regulate them. They classified them as having no medical use, which effectively killed all research for decades. It wasn't until the nonprofit MAPS was founded in '86 that the slow, really painstaking work of bringing this science back from the dead even began. Okay, so fast forward to today. The science is back. And let me tell you, the results are completely shattering our modern understanding of mental health. So how does this stuff actually work? I mean, this isn't magic. It's straight up neuroscience. First, let's talk about PTSD. I want you to think of our veterans, first responders, survivors of assault. For them, a traumatic memory gets locked into the brain's fear center, a place called the amygdala. And whenever that memory gets triggered, the amygdala just fires up, creating this overwhelming wave of panic. They're trapped, literally reliving the same terror over and over again. Okay, so this is where MDMA-assisted therapy comes in, and it's brilliant. It's a three-step process. First, the MDMA temporarily quiets down that overactive amygdala. The fear signal it goes down. Second, it boosts hormones like oxytocin, that's the bonding hormone, which makes the patient feel safe and deeply connected to their therapist. And that leads to the crucial third step. It creates this temporary window where the patient can finally access and talk about their trauma without being completely overwhelmed by terror. It allows the therapy to actually work. So, what were the results from MAPS's final, big Phase 3 trials? Get this. After just a few guided sessions, 71% of participants with severe, treatment-resistant PTSD no longer met the diagnostic criteria for the disorder. Just let that sink in for a second. These were people for whom nothing else had worked. And we're seeing a really similar story with psilocybin, the compound from magic mushrooms, and its effect on depression. See, with severe depression, your brain can get stuck in these super rigid negative thought loops. It's like a record skipping on the exact same sad part of a song, over and over and over. Psilocybin acts like a neural reboot. It temporarily disrupts those stuck patterns and boosts brain connectivity, allowing new, healthier pathways to form. It's literally like hitting Control-Alt-Delete on a frozen mind. With results like these, you think this is it, right? This is the happy ending to the story. The lost science is found, the miracle cure is here, and millions of people can finally get the help they desperately need. Wrong. The medical breakthrough, that was just the first battle. The real fight, the much bigger fight, is just getting started. Because this has never been just about medicine. This is a battle over who gets to control the human mind. This is the consciousness war. And the threats are coming from two very different but equally powerful directions. So what are we up against? Well, first, there's authoritarian control. Governments like China are flat out banning this kind of research. And at the same time, they're developing AI-powered neurosurveillance to literally read your mind. They don't want a population that's expanding its consciousness. They want one they can control. The second threat? Corporate capture. Venture capitalists see $1 billion market. They're trying to patent these ancient compounds and, get this, they're trying to strip out the actual psychedelic experience, the trip, the very part that makes the therapy work, all so they can patent it and sell you a simple, profitable little pill. So on one hand, you've got authoritarian control, and on the other, pure corporate greed. It feels pretty bleak, doesn't it? But what if there's a third way? A path that isn't about control or profit, but about community, about compassion. This right here, this is the motto of a group called the Zendo Project, and it just perfectly captures this third way. It's a philosophy built on harm reduction and simple human connection, recognizing that these powerful experiences require support, not punishment or profit. So what is the Zendo Project? Think of it like psychedelic first aid. You're at a festival. Someone's having a really difficult, terrifying time, a bad trip. Instead of getting arrested or hauled off to a hospital, a trained volunteer comes. They sit with them in a safe, calm space, offer some water, and just compassionate support. It's a model that accepts reality and focuses entirely on safety. It's not about control. It's not about greed. It's about community. And that brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? We are standing at this massive crossroads. Consciousness really is the final frontier of human experience. So will these breakthroughs be a tool for our liberation, for our healing, or are they going to be captured, commodified, and used as the final tool of control? And make no mistake about it, this is not some far-off future problem. The fight for the future of your mind isn't coming. The consciousness wars have already begun.